They called it the greatest money heist in South Africa's history. A crime so bold, it left the police humiliated and the country terrified. 4 innocent lives were taken, a getaway that seemed impossible. These men weren't just criminals, they were masterminds. And as the nation demanded justice, they slipped through the cracks of the law. How did they do it? This is their story. It all started as a beautiful plan in the streets of Soweto, when Monde approached Makwanyane with a simple plan where they are supposed to walk in and walk out as soon as they could to commit one of the biggest heists in the history of heists in South Africa. Monde's plan was to rob the cash van that was carrying and transporting money to various hospitals. He further explained that to do this job successfully, they would need firearms, a car, and a crew who were hungry for money. Makwanyane was sold to the plan and he was anticipating for the day in action. A few days later, Monde met with a trigger-happy friend of his named Franz Ndluli, who had a military background, meaning he had access to military firearms. Then Monde pitched the plan to Franz. Franz agreed to the plan and promised he would bring 2 firearms and ammunition with him. But then Makwanyane complained that the job was too big just for the 3 of them. So Monde went out and recruited more members. Now the crew was complete. It was Begi, Vusi, Tsaka, Franz, Makwanyane, and Monde, the mastermind. In the early hours of the morning at around 5 a.m., Monde came with a dark grey car and they went to fetch Makwanyane, Vusi, Beki, and Franz at White City. Then they went to collect guns and ammunition in Meadowlands. Afterwards, they went to fetch Tsaka in Dube Hostel. With everything in place, they made their way to Coronation Hospital. Their plan was simple. They would enter, wait for the guards to open the car, take the money and leave. But it wouldn't be that easy. Every month without fail, the Volkskas Bank sends a vehicle to deliver wages to various hospitals. This was a routine task that was carried out without incidents for years. A secure panel van, reinforced with thick glass and strong metal panels, would transport the money, and the police vehicle would always escort it, ensuring the safety of the crew and the cash. The morning of August 31st was no different. The bank vehicle, driven by Pretorius, left the Volkskas branch at 6 a.m. with a police car right behind it. Inside the bank vehicle, 5 bank officials were already on their way to deliver cash. The bank vehicle was carrying 1,378,000 rands in cash. The first stop was JD Stradom Hospital, where 3 bank officials were dropped off. But there was no way to know that this day would soon spiral into chaos. The bank vehicle then continued its journey to Coronation Hospital, carrying 2 bank officials, Botha and Havana. When they arrived, Makwanyane and the crew also arrived. Then they waited for the guards to open the van. When the guards opened the van, the unexpected happened. Without warning, the bullets started flying. Franz was the first to shoot. The police officers also returned fire and chaotic shootout ensued. The bank vehicle tried to escape, but crashed into a Cressida. The bank vehicle came into a violent halt. Pretorius and Havana, who had also been injured, were now fatally wounded. The Cressida, unable to start, left the group stranded, scrambling for a getaway. They had no choice but to flee on foot. At the rowboats, they forcefully jumped into a passing taxi and told the taxi driver to drive them back to Soweto. 4 innocent lives were lost that day, and several others would never be the same again. It was a brutal, violent, active terror. But the story didn't end there. After everything was said and done, the group parted ways, each heading back to their own lives. But the law was closing in on them. On September 3rd, just after the failed heist, the police got a tip that Makwanyane was around White City, and then they followed the trail of the tip, and he was found and arrested at White City. The authorities caught up with him, and the other crew members were also arrested as well. There were 6 of the accused in total awaiting to face trial. Accused number 1, Monde. Accused number 2, Beki. Accused 3, Makwanyane. Accused 4, Vusi. Accused 5, Tsaka. And accused number 6, Franz. The 6th suspect, Franz, evaded arrest and was therefore not indicted at the commencement of the trial on the 14th October 1991. But when he was supposed to be rearrested, he resisted arrest and was shot dead by the police. Charges were withdrawn against accused number 1, Monde. This was a procedural step to effect a separation of trials. But he was rearrested and escaped from prison, and when he was caught, he was shot dead by the police, whilst also resisting an attempt to be arrested. Now 4 were remaining of the 6 accused. Meanwhile, the matter was partly heard. The remaining accused number 2, 3, 4, and 5 attempted to escape on the 28th of October 1991 from a prison vehicle at the Rand Supreme Court. 2 of the escapees were rearrested near the court after the police gave chase. Accused 5, Tsaka, managed to escape, while accused number 2, Begi, was shot dead by the police while fleeing. Now 2 of the 6 suspects were remaining to face trial, Makwanyane and Vusi. On the 28th of April 1992, the accused were sentenced to death on each of the following counts of murder. Makwanyane and Vusi appealed their sentences of death, and luckily in 1994, it was the new South Africa, a new dawn, a new democracy. The case was heard from February 15 to 17 in 1995. They argued that the death penalty was cruel, inhumane, degrading, and therefore unconstitutional. So on the 6th of June 1995, the death penalty was abolished in South Africa by the Constitutional Court. The courts unanimously ruled that the death penalty was unconstitutional because it violated the right to life, dignity, and freedom from cruel punishment and torture. That is how Makwanyane and friend Vusi survived death. They served their prison sentence and they are now out of prison and alive, living in Soweto, South Africa. Subscribe to watch more such stories.